Of critical importance to note is that as the African matriarchies and their prophetic economic and political power began to increase, so did the resentment and jealousy against them by the priest Amun, who had already by then taken the ancient temples of Thebes, forcing many queen mothers into exile. It was in Minona and Mycenae where these divine mothers rebuilt their dynasties. The priests of Amun then overthrew and seized the major Mami temples in the oasis of Siwa, now renamed Oasis of Amun, and the Mami temple of Neith at Sais in Egypt. Soon after, these priests of Amun sent convoys to Black Libya and seized control of the temple of Athena Minerva and renamed it Apollo. They then went to Dodona, Greek Isle, and seized the famous Black Diana's temple and renamed it to Zeus. Shortly afterward, they seized the most powerful temple at Delphi in Greece and installed male priests to oversee the priestesses. They then subjugated those priestesses that could not escape and forced them to perform spiritual services under the patriarchal rule. In Egypt, during the reign of the pharaohs, the priestesses were not allowed to serve in the temple at the ranks of the high priest, though the pharaoh could only claim divine blood through them. At each of these Mamasi temples, the priests slaughtered the ancestral python and rebuilt a new Omphale atop of its ruins. They then mythologized the original history of creation, which exalts the divine African Mami Isis mother as God, and placed themselves and all the male deities at the top of the divine hierarchy.
Wow.
Thus today we have Amun, Horus, Zeus, Jehovah, and other sun deities giving birth to the goddesses and gods from the anatomically impossible features such as their heads and thighs and ribs and saliva and ejaculation, and by other unnatural means, instead of the original logos, the holy womb of the divine African mother. These African matriarchies, from their inception, were always threatened with violence, rape, and personal violation during the rise of patriarchy, as it is today. Yet all accounts written about the Omphale have completely ignored this monumental history event in African religious history. Most continue to refer to these sacred Mamasi temples as the temples of Zeus and the temple of Apollo, etc. However, that is not what they were originally. It is the same equivalent as referencing an African nation as French Guinea or British Ghana, American Samoa, recognizing their colonial subjugation without respecting their original autonomy. The Omphale temples are correctly referred to as temples of Diana, temple of Sybil, temple of Athene, Minerva, Hathor, Ishtar, Neith al-Uzza, Awasa, et al. When the priests of Amun seized all of the major Mamasi temples, it enhanced their political and economic power and influence throughout the world and began a new era of African patriarchy, world domination, and military conquest. Perhaps these priests viewed their actions as the only means to stave off the more vicious and barbarous wave of threatening invasions from the fiercely patriarchal, misogynistic, Indo-European, Aryan, Iranian tribes from the north. Their true motivations might never be known. However, what is certain is that their actions of sacrilege against the divine African mother angered and suffered them the wrath of Mami, who promised through her prophecies via the Sibyls to destroy Egypt and Libya and all of the other lands where they seized her Mamasi temples and violated her priestesses.
And right there and there, that was the fall.
Yep.